Hey, what is up, fellow Raiders? This is Vulcan Dan, and I hope you're having a great weekend. Looking forward to the Doom Tower reset that will happen in the next few days, because in today's Raid Shadow Legends video, we are going to talk about 10 free-to-play friendly, budget-friendly, non-legendary champions. So these are just rares or epics that can help you with Astranyx the Dark Fae, which is one of the 2 new Doom Tower bosses that will appear in the next Doom Tower rotation. Now, of course, you might be thinking, maybe you're a new account. You've just started playing the game a month or 2 months ago, or maybe you're just a free-to-play casual player. And you might be thinking that these new Doom Tower bosses are becoming increasingly more difficult. And you're going like, hey, this is not for me. I'm not going to be able to beat these bosses. But I can tell you that you might have a few of these champions that I think can definitely help you in beating the new Doom Tower boss Astranyx the Dark Fae. All right, so before we get into the 10 champions that I will recommend, in my opinion, beating Astranyx, you will have to focus on the mirror copies. When you start the boss fight, which is on the 3rd round, Astranyx will immediately summon 5 copies of your entire team. So yeah, so you'll technically be facing your own champs, and these have the same speed, they have the same skills. So you'll basically technically really be facing your entire champion, and because they have the same stats, they will have the same speed as well. So but being the attacker, you will actually have the first priority. So it will be your fastest champion will go first and have a turn, and then the mirror copy of your fastest champion will go next, and then your second fastest champion will go next, and then the mirror copy of that champion will go next. So it just goes like that. But of course, you want to have more turns, and you want to prevent the mirror copies from having a turn and from doing their own skills, which are also your skills. Now, there are 2 things, or there are 2 ways wherein you can do this. One is to either increase or decrease turn meter. Now, you can increase your own or decrease the enemy's turn meter to make sure that perhaps 3 of your champions can go first before their first champion can react. So that is one way. The other way is, of course, crowd control. Either provoke, stun, freeze. So the champions that I will be mentioning in these top 10 list in today's video will focus around, for the most part, will focus around these 2 strategies. So turn meter and crowd control. All right, so let's get to it. First one that I will recommend is Deacon Armstrong. All right, so Deacon has this Leech A1 and Decreased Defense A2, but this is the skill that you really want, which is fill the turn meter of all allies by 15%, decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 15%, and then grants that extra turn. Hopefully he will immediately go into this AoE Decreased Defense so that your next champion can hopefully nuke them. So maybe you're a new player and you happen to pull a Deacon Armstrong, congratulations, and then your starter champ, whether it's Kale, Aethel, they can nuke them down if they're fast enough so that they can go second without the enemy's Deacon going next. All right, so of course the enemy will also have a Deacon that has the same speed as your Deacon, but because your Deacon uses time compression, then their Deacon will go slower and hopefully give you enough time if your next fastest champion is fast enough to nuke them down after Deacon places this decreased defense on all of them. So I think you have an idea of how this is going. These are just the 10 champions that I'm going to recommend, but there are more champions with similar skills. Maybe you don't have any of these 10, but maybe you have other champions that have similar skills. So just take a look at your roster and see which one works. Number 2 is in the same faction, but he's a Void Epic, Inquisitor Chalm. Now, this one is the outlier in this top 10. He does not really deal with the mirror copies, but he deals with the boss's A2, wherein he places that True Fear 25% for each Void champion on your team. So if you have 4 Void champions, then that's 100% chance of placing True Fear on all of your champs, and that is a terrible debuff to have. But Inquisitor has this passive that whenever an ally receives a Fear or True Fear from an enemy, this skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the ally's turn meter by 15%. So yeah, and this has no cooldown. So whenever the boss uses that A2, the True Fear, when it's placed, will immediately be removed, and then you will have a turn meter fill. So he is going to be useful for that. All right, next one, let's go to Barbarians. And if you're if you've been playing the game for at least 30 days, you will have this champ. Yes, High Katun. Even 1 month in, you can already have a champ that does well against Astranyx, because High Katun, of course, this very popular A2, turn meter fill by 15% and increase speed. But let's say this skill was on cooldown when you first meet the boss. High Katun also has this A3 that decreases the turn meter of all of the enemies. So that's an AoE skill. So two skills that can help with that turn meter, either increasing yours or decreasing theirs. So High Katun, a very flexible champion, and she is free. Next one, let's go to Ogrin, and this one is a rare Bellower, triple AoE in all of his skills. Put him in a stun set. Now your Bellower will go before their Bellower, so hopefully you'll be able to stun theirs or stun a little more from their team, and that would prevent their champions from attacking you, of course. And his A1 is a 20% chance, book up to a 30% to block active skills for 1 turn. So let's say you weren't able to stun a lot of them with your stun gear, but still you'll be able to block their active skills, so they'll just be doing their A1s on you. So definitely an excellent champion to place in your Astranyx team. All right, next is from the Skinwalker, another rare Gnarlhorn. Yes, he has this AoE provoke 100% to land, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. So that's it. That's really all you need from him. A very reliable 3-turn cooldown provoke, 100% chance. So he's excellent. You can I've used him all up until stage 20 in Faction Wars. Gnarlhorn, definitely one of the top rares in Raid. All right, next one is also in the same faction, Basher. Basher has this A2 that increases the cooldown of all of the target skills by 2 turns. Now your Basher will go first. When it's their Basher's turn, he goes like, oh, my skills are all on cooldown, so I have no choice but to just use this single target A1. So yeah, so because all of your champions, even though they have the same speed, you know, your champs and the mirror copies champs, you will still go first. You will have first priority. So make sure when you go first that you make the most out of it. And this A2 will definitely prevent them from taking advantage of their turn, because they'll just be using their A1s. All right, next one, let's go to the Orcs. Seer, another excellent epic champion. Now she is very at least for my account, I had a hard time getting her, but I've heard some free to play account, you know, have some luck with their voids. They pull a Seer in their first month or first 2 months in the game. So yes, not that difficult to get, you know, it's just a lot of RNG. And of course her skill, her popular skill, Karma Burn, which will nuke the entire team, the entire enemy team, if you have someone placing a lot of buffs like a Mausoleum Mage. So of course, if you have a Mausoleum Mage, they will also have one, so you will place buffs. The enemy mage will also place buffs, and Seer will remove the buffs of both teams, your champs and the enemy champs, and that would almost guarantee, I think it will, nuke everyone down, and you're just faced with dealing with the boss. So Seer is usually not like her value goes down when you're done with the waves and then you're dealing with just the boss. But because this boss has an entire roster of 5 champs, then Seer is definitely great for Astranyx the Dark Fae. Alright, next one, let's go to the Undead Horde. And this is a personal favorite of mine because I actually pulled him very early in my account and helped me in Arena. Yeah, Seeker. Seeker has this A2, book to a 3-turn cooldown, fill the turn meter of all allies by 30%. That's a lot. And then you have increased attack on all allies for 2 turns and then grant an extra turn. So this on itself is good. You can, if your champs are fast enough, maybe 3, 4, or maybe all 5 of your champs can go before their champs get a single turn. But his A1, after you do this A2, he will grant himself an extra turn. His A1, you can actually provoke the enemy Seeker. Now when you, of course, provoke the enemy Seeker, the Seeker will not be able to do his A2, will not be able to fill the turn meter of his own allies, which is the enemy team. Then of course you can take advantage of that and nuke them down because they're slower, you're faster. Okay, next one, let's go to the Dark Elves. Sylar. Sylar has a decreased speed and decreased turn meter by 40%. That's quite a large decreased turn meter skill, along with the decreased speed for 2 turns. This will make sure that you will nuke the enemy team down really quickly. Also has another AoE skill right here. So yeah, so Sylar definitely an excellent champion to use for the Astranyx the Dark Fae boss. The last one that I will introduce is Rockbreaker, an excellent crowd control champion in the dwarves. He has this AoE provoke. You can book this to 100% just like Gnarlhorn, but of course Gnarlhorn already has it at 100%. But if you don't have him and you have Rockbreaker, he technically does the same thing. 3-turn cooldown, just provokes the entire team, so that when it's their Rockbreaker's turn, they can't provoke you because they're just stuck with their A1. Alright, so I hope that you have some of these champs. I know that some of the champs that I provided were void, but you don't need to have every single one of these champs. As long as you have one of them, that would already work. Or if you don't have any of these champs, any champ that has good chance to provoke, stun, freeze, or make you go faster, or make the other team go slower, or hopefully you have other champs in your team, maybe some Legos that you have pulled, even if you're a new account. If you just started an account right now, you will have Ninja, and Ninja has that A3, I think, that has that AoE freeze that will work as well. Alright, so I hope you found this video useful. I will continue to make more free-to-play friendly sort of guides. So if you're a new account or you're just a free-to-play casual player, hopefully you find my videos useful. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.